I've got a new Instant Pot programmable electric pressure cooker. There you can see the model number. It's IPDUO50 and 60. I'm going to use it for the first time, and the manual has some instructions for what to do before you use it the first time, and then a little test you can run to just put some water in it, and that apparently helps clean it before you use it for cooking the first time, and it gets you comfortable with using some of the controls. The first thing I did was just wash the pot that goes inside it, and I washed the inside of the lid just with warm soapy water, and then rinsed everything and wiped it dry. So I'm going to follow the steps that tell me how to get it ready for this test before I use it the first time. So I've turned it around because the first thing I have to do is put this little condensation collector on the back. There's a little lip here that this is going to attach to, so I'll just put it up there and snap so that both sides have snapped in. And now I'm going to turn it around again so we can see the front. The next step is to look inside the lid, and there's this cover, which is the anti-block shield. We have to remove that. Just wiggle it a bit. It comes right off. We're going to put it back on later, and it can go in either directions. It's both the same. And to put it back, just snap it in place and test it to make sure it's on there securely. The next step is to pull out this seal. I'm just going to pull it a little bit at a time, give it a firm pull, and gradually pull it all the way around so the whole thing is out. And here's the seal that I've pulled out, and it's the same either side, so when you put it back in, it doesn't matter which side you put up. So we're going to put it back in. I guess they have us do this just to make sure it's in there securely. So just drop it into the lid anywhere, and then start pushing it so that the lower part of the rim goes down in behind this seal. And you want to make sure that it's touching down at the bottom all the way around. So just gradually and gently push that down as you spin the lid, and make sure every part of it is in securely. And I'm not sure why we have to do this step, but I guess just to make sure that it's not come loose while it was in transit. And the last little bit might be harder to push in as everything else is down. And then just give it a final check. Make sure that it's down at the bottom all the way around before we use it. Next, I'm going to do the initial test run that's in their manual, and this will clean it out a little more and also give me a chance to try some of the controls before I cook something in it. So we'll get started with that. The first step is to check the lid. We have to make sure that this steam release handle is movable, and also this little steam release valve. You can just click it, or you can push up from the bottom. Make sure those two items are clean and unobstructed so that they can move easily. Next, we're going to put this inner pot into the cooker and fill it with water up to the 3 level. So we can see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So we're going to fill it up to that first small line. And there's no problem putting it into the cooker. It just drops right in. And I'll get some water and fill it. So there, I've got water in up to that 3 line. That took somewhere between 3 and 4 cups, so I guess it's not an accurate cup measurement. I think it's slightly more than 3 cups of water in there. Next, I'm going to put on the lid, and we'll make sure that the arrow on the pot lines up with the arrow on the lid. Here it is here. I'll lift the lid onto the top of the pot, line up those arrows. It should drop in. You'll feel it so it's not wiggling back and forth. And now I'm going to turn it in the direction of close. And it's snapped. I can't push it any further this way, and I can't lift it up. On the lid, make sure this handle is pointed towards sealing rather than venting. And while this is running, make sure you don't put your face or hands anywhere near the steam valve where steam eventually will be coming from. The test instructions don't mention plugging it in, but I think we'll need to do that. So there's a little beep, and it's telling me that it's off. In the test, we're going to steam the water. So I'm going to be pressing this steam button. And then we're going to press the minus symbol here to go down to 2 minutes. In 10 seconds it's going to go into a preheating cycle, and it's going to show on. And then a few minutes, there we go, it's on. And in a few minutes steam will start coming out for a minute or two. The float valve will pop up, and that will seal the cooker. Then another minute or two it'll be at its working pressure, and it'll start the countdown. Now the countdown is started. It's going down to 1. So it's reached its temperature. And when that gets down to 0, then I'll turn it off. Oh, the countdown is over. It's beeping at me. And now I can hit this keep warm button. And that turns it off. And I'll let it sit for 10 or 15 minutes, and then I'll be able to open the lid. The pot has been turned off for a little while now, and you can see that the steam release, the float, has dropped down now, so it's going to be safe to open. Just to make sure there's no steam left in there, I'm going to turn it to venting, and then I'll be able to take off the lid. And to do that, I'm just going to turn the lid toward open. It might be a little tough to pull up, but there we go. And our nicely boiled water and clean pot. Inside we can see the still very hot water, so I'm going to get my pot holders before I try and lift out this pan. And then I'll dump that out and rinse it, and I'll be ready to cook. There doesn't seem to be anything in this condensation collector, but I'll remove that and give it a rinse too. On the front we can see it's off, and I'm just going to unplug it, and then later I'll try cooking something.